everyday citizens have a right to enter into these courtrooms to see how these proceedings are going. And so even though he is a celebrity, he still has what, quote unquote, a right.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real life. Street Starz. You know what time it is.
As this trial is going forward, we're going to be jumping around as far as week 4 and week 5. But the first thing we would want to touch on is, of course, Kanye West arrives at trial to support his friend.
Right.
For those that don't know, how is, and especially with Diddy's trial, like how can people come be a witness to it? We hear a lot of YouTubers are out there, a lot of content creators are out there. I know you normally need a media pass to even be part of the media to go in and kind of address it, but someone like a Kanye West, can he just go and sit in on Diddy's trial? Like, is that a thing that they'll allow?
One of the reasons why the term the People's Court was framed is because everyday citizens have a right to enter into these courtrooms to see how these proceedings are going. And so even though he is a celebrity, he still has what, quote unquote, a right. The difference in this particular instance is that he may have been kept out of the main gallery only because they may feel that it will tamper with the jury. Because if the jury sees that someone such as a Kanye West is willing to come in there and support Mr. Combs, it could sway the jury, or that they could feel like it could sway the jury. And so they don't want any outside circumstances or extraordinary events to shape the mind or change the trajectory of this case and leave it solely on the facts.
Understandable. Yeah, Kanye is a big figure. It's interesting because the same day he came, they mentioned the Jane Doe, of course, whose name hasn't been revealed now, but the Jane Doe had mentioned as far as pulling up to the situation with a very well-known rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was the prosecution wanted to they should be able to speak on who the rapper is.
No, it was the defense.
The defense wanted to say, hey, we should be able to say who the rapper is. And the prosecution, moved against that as far as we don't need to know. First and foremost, give us your take as far as the defense wanting the rapper's name to be mentioned, that we should, if this is a court of public opinion, we're going to fight this in the public, then we need to know who's all involved in this and them not letting the rapper's name out.
So everyone who has been to elementary school and gotten in trouble, what's the first thing that people do when they get in trouble? Kobe Bryant did it.
Yeah, tattletale.
I ain't the only one doing it.
Yeah, you can point.
Shaquille doing the same thing, right? And so they point to others to show that what they're doing is not necessarily awful and is really something that people like them do. And so I've said it at the very beginning, is that there is a world that many of us don't know about with people with this kind of money and this kind of access, that they live differently than us. I mean, the things that we see on social media, they're not there for no reason, right? I mean, and I'm not trying to take a shot at anyone, but you have a person who is attractive and you see them in this lavish lifestyle. But when you hear them speak and they open their mouth, you're like, clearly you're not running an empire or a business because you can't, right? Just from the way that they're carrying themselves and speaking, you automatically assume, okay, it's something else behind all of this stuff that you receive,
right,
and all the stuff that you're around. And so I think you shine a light on the lifestyle and the access, and that everybody has this access, and it's not necessarily just Sean Combs. He's not the only one.
Would you like to take a stab at who that rapper was?
I absolutely would not.
Okay.
I absolutely will not. But I will throw the phrase out there, a hit dog will holler. And so
I thought you were gonna say like, she takes my money.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Matter of fact, good friend of mine, I'm not gonna say her name, but she was actually the lead model in that video. And
very dope.
And so she's married to one of my best
I'm gonna
friends.
go back and watch. I'm gonna go back and watch the video.
She's married to one of my best friends.
Amazing. But so it does go to speak to, like, you know, the juror who chose to lie, or not lie, but say he stays in New York. A lot of people, the Punisher, you're good friends with Woody after the YSL trial. A lot of people find, and even with the OJ trial, people find ways to create careers of being in high profile cases, whether jury, whether just a witness or whatever. Do you see that people, whoever's part of this jury, may create, write books? They're allowed to do that after, once the trial is done. They're right to speak on how they went through it. So these are sometimes looked at as opportunities to further one's life, especially in this social media era. Would you say that?
I would agree. I mean, it is carpe diem, seize the day. And I think the person who probably had the best chance of doing that was the stylist.
Yeah, come on.
Because he was entertaining, he was engaging, the jury liked him, the audience who were listening or people in the courtroom liked him. And so there was an opportunity for him to catapult that and really use it. I think I even said during one of our dialogues is that he is the Woody of this trial, in the sense that he is the person who kind of took over and on the defense side danced around and really gave them a difficult time getting what they wanted out of him.
Yeah, I kind of saw the Punisher. I'm seeing him making his media rounds. You know, he was just on with Cameron, It Is What It Is, or whatever the podcast Cameron had with him. And he just blatantly asked him, like, man, how was Cassie, bro? And I'm like, the trial's still going on. And yet he's out here having interviews just talking about, just like, can either the prosecution or the defense say, hey, because I know Woody was out doing the same thing. So what process, once you go on stand, if the court is still, of course, trying to find either if the verdict's going to be guilty or not guilty, do they have any ability to shut up either a witness or anyone's testimony or anyone going on to just kind of further, kind of bring forward whatever their story is that they maybe didn't say on trial? Or can they get brought back in based on, hey, you went on this podcast and talked about this, which you didn't talk about? That's brought more questions. We need you to come back in now. We've seen that.
Yeah. That all of what you just said can happen. Judge can put out a gag order. When I worked on the Travis Scott trial or case,
Houston,
Astroworld.
Yeah, Astroworld, yes.
There was a gag order put out, and I think I did an interview with Rolling Stone, and after that, and so even the new Netflix documentary, I was called to speak on that, and I couldn't. I couldn't speak.
I mean, that gag order is just papers at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Find yourself next to Diddy.
I like sleeping in my own bed.
Right.
And
not a cot.
Yeah, and I'm not big on. No, man, I haven't slept on a cot since elementary.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? That ain't my thing. And I don't even know if they have to change them things out or clean them.
You can't even ask, even if you care about it. Like, it's dirty in here.
Yeah.
So we don't give a.
No, so I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, that makes sense.
Shout out RealLyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move. Hey.